The Charguanas police assassinated 3 young people on Wednesday, January 29th, 2025. Their names were Roshan Bahadur, Stiener Bahadur, and Rihanna Rennie. The police shot Rihanna 18 times. Roshan received 12 shots, and Stiener was shot 8 times. If you believe the police story in the media, you will believe that these people were criminals and robbers that deserved to die, but this story will show you who these people were and what really happened. This story has discovered how irresponsible the media is in reporting police killings, and how some people in the media conspire with the police to create cover stories for unjustified police killings in exchange for exclusive information on police operations. Rihanna was an excellent and brilliant student, as reported by her teachers. She was a girl of great character that showed respect for everyone she encountered. Rihanna was about to graduate secondary school in 2025. She loved agriculture, and after secondary school, she planned to pursue higher college education, and thereafter, a career in agriculture to provide food security to the people of Trinidad and Tobago. Roshan was a qualified and certified fisherman. He worked hard every day on the sea and was very successful at the job as a fisherman. Roshan was known by his family and people in his community to have a very high moral compass. He always kept himself out of any trouble and preached to his family and friends about staying on the right side of the law. Roshan never committed a crime, and he did not have a police record committing a crime, nor did he belong to any illegal group or gang. Stiener loved to cook for family and friends, and will seek any opportunity to show off his cooking skills. Stiener was also a fisherman like his brother Roshan. He was also an avid hunter. Stiener was known as what we call in Trinidad and Tobago as miserable. He was the miserable one in the family who liked to joke and got into fights in school, but with all his joking and fighting, Stiener never committed a crime, and he did not have a police record committing any crimes, nor did he belong to any illegal group or gang. All of this information can be obtained by submitting a Freedom of Information request to the TPS and freely interviewing people in Roshan, Stiener, and Rihanna's community. Both Roshan and Stiener come from a large and close family of 15 brothers and sisters. Now, let's look at what the media reported about the killings. Remember, media houses should always investigate and verify information for correctness and accuracy before reporting that information to the public. All the media houses carried the same story that was provided by the police. No media house bothered to ask questions or do their own investigation before publishing the police version of the story. Here is a police story. The shooting took place around 10:30 p.m. on January 29th at Perseverance Road in Chaguanas. The operation was part of the police's strategic plan under the Emergency Powers Regulations 2024. Officers from the Cuva CID, CDTF Area South, and Cuva Charge Room were on an anti-crime operation when they spotted a gold Nissan Tita car, which had reportedly been involved in a robbery with violence at 1 a.m. on January 29th at Odra Avenue in Shandonagore. The officers stopped the car, got out of their marked police van, and cautiously approached the car. Before they had a chance to speak to the driver, the occupants reportedly opened fire, prompting the police to shoot back. The car then drove off. The officers called for backup and chased the car, but lost sight of it. On further investigation, they saw a man with a gunshot wound walking out an overgrown area, carrying a gun. They told him to stop and drop the weapon. However, the man aimed the gun at the police, who then shot at him, hitting him and making him drop the gun. On searching further, the police found a woman and another man with gunshot wounds. All 3 were taken to the Chaguanas Health Facility, where they were declared dead. The police later found a getaway car crashed in an overgrown area. Another gun recovered from was it. Now, this is the police version of the story that can be confirmed on over 6 media houses' pages. It is very important to remember the police version of the story. Ian Allen, the host of the show Crime Watch, went further in repeating the police version of the story without verifying the facts. It is important to note that Ian Allen has a very close relationship with the Chaguanas police. He gets information before any other media house, and he provides cover stories for police killings. The hypocrisy of Ian Allen is that he always preaches this to his audience.
It's not what you know, it's what you could prove. As my researcher always tell me, yeah, okay, he that alleges was proof. They're going to use a diversionary tactic. You do that, you will do that. They call it as kind of damage control. So you're not really focusing on the problem. You're focusing on the bigger issue. Wow, he was wanted by police. And if they get some journalists to really write it up nice and thing, well, that is it. And that is how it's going to run.
He did not investigate and verify the facts of Rihanna, Roshan, and Stiener killings before he broadcasted to a national audience. He did not follow his own principle of who that alleges must prove.
There was a robbery in the Chandanago area. And there was these fellas and them. And if you notice, when we put images, one with a AR rifle, right? Now, she must not have known about the private life, the quiet life that these people are living, these boys are living. We don't know, but all we know is that the police said that they were part of this clip from Razak shooting when 6 people died. We found out that police, upon seeing the vehicle in the Chandanago area as they made the bend there, but it happened as they made the bend, they were trying to, perseverance, but I say perseverance, as they got to make the bend, they were trying to escape when they saw the police vehicle. They stopped, the police started to put on a siren and whatnot and thing. They fired at the police. I could imagine she's saying, hold on, right? I just saying, and keeping with that policy, when they fire upon the police, that the police will have to react a certain way, and that is exactly what happened.
Now, before we move on, let's discuss the elephant in the room. As Ian Allen stated, when the police unjustifiably kill people, they investigate that person's past for anything they can use to convince the public that that person deserved to be killed. Now, think about it. If a shooting is justifiable and there's evidence to support the police killing, why search through someone's past to justify the killing? So, in this case, the police searched Facebook and provided a picture of one of their murder victims, holding a gun. The truth is the picture is irrelevant to the killing and will not hold water in any court of law. There's a dangerous and stupid fad in Trinidad and Tobago with young people. Many young people, rich, poor, good and bad for all walks of life, are taking pictures with legal and illegal guns owned by family and friends, and they are posting these pictures on social media. There are videos and pictures with policemen letting their women hold their guns. Even the children of politicians are getting in on the fad. However, although this is a stupid thing to do, it does not mean that person is a criminal or justifies you killing that person. Remember, Stiener had no criminal police records, and there is no evidence that he was part of any gang. Here's the true story. Everything said here can be confirmed by hard facts and evidence. There were 6 victims in the vehicle. 5 got shot, 4 died, and 2 escaped murder by running for their lives from the police bullets. One of the 2 escaped, and that person was hospitalized with a police gunshot. None of them had a gun. Here's the breakdown. On January 29th, 2025, a group of 5 friends were in Kuva liming with a family member all night. They got hungry and left Kuva for Shiguanas. They were driving to one of the friends' apartments to cook. Roshan and Stiener could not drive, and they did not have a license to drive. Roshan, Rihanna, and Stiener were in the backseat of the car, and their 2 other friends who are brothers were in the front seat. The group was driving past Kenny Sport Bar on Perseverance Road. A police vehicle was parked by Kenny Sports Bar with 2 policemen inside that vehicle. According to reliable witnesses, when the police officers saw the group of young people in the vehicle, they took off behind the group with flashing lights and sirens and stopped the vehicle. The group stopped, and everyone placed their hands out the windows to show the police that they were not a threat. Remember, the police story was that they were on an anti-crime operation, and that the police were looking for suspects that committed a grocery robbery in Chandanago, Shiguanas that day, on January 29th. Well, that is a lie. These policemen were parked at the bar, and the anti-crime operation did not start until the early morning of January 30th, 2025.
Police operation that took place this morning in the Enterprise area. Our cameraman Devon Parker was there at the beginning with police officers, ACP Meister and superintendent from the Central Division there, having a chat just before the exercise began. And I was listening to one of the clips where ACP Meister spoke about the unfortunate incident involving that would have taken place a couple hours before this exercise began, referencing the alleged robbery that took place in the central area. Police had to respond.
Beyond the tape is a police show, which is 100% dependent upon direct first-hand police information. Notice how the host provided a police cover story for a robbery earlier that day like Ian Allen, but no proof of a robbery was provided. The media always provide pictures, videos, and interviews of crimes, but the name of the place, time and location of any robbery is a mystery. This is maybe the first time that ever happened in Trinidad and Tobago, where there is an alleged robbery with no evidence of a robbery. So the police stopped the vehicle with the 5 friends, and everyone placed their hands out the windows. As reported by the witnesses, the 2 policemen got out of their vehicle with their guns and started to shout at everyone in the vehicle. This is called deliberate escalation. Then the 2 policemen began running and shooting directly into the vehicle. As they were running and shooting, the witnesses could hear them calling for backup on their radio. Remember, the police story is that someone from a vehicle started to shoot at them, but no police will run out in the open at incoming bullets. Training dictates taking cover and shooting from cover. No sane police will stand out in the open and exchange gunshots with anyone behind cover. The driver in the vehicle had no choice but to try to save the lives of the people in the vehicle. So he tried to drive away from the oncoming police bullets, but due to the situation, he crashed into a tree. 3 of the 5 victims were able to get out of the car. 2 of the 3 friends that got out of the car already received police gunshots. The police approached the vehicle and pumped 18 shots into Rihanna and 8 shots into Stiener. Rihanna and Stiener were killed in the car. Stiener was crippled due to serious life-threatening injuries he sustained in November 2024. He was hospitalized for those injuries. Stiener could not run and walk properly, let alone commit any robbery. One of his legs was still in a cast, and he had 4 months of treatment and recovery before that cast could be removed. So, the story the police told that they found Rihanna and Stiener shot, and then they found the crash car empty is not true. The blood evidence in the car disproves the police story. As was said earlier, 4 victims were killed by police in that car, not 3 as reported. Rihanna and Roshan were a couple. Roshan family was very close to Rihanna for a long time in Roshan, and Rihanna started dating. They fell in love, and later Roshan moved in with Rihanna's and her family in the San Fernando area. So they were living together. He worked and provided for her financially and emotionally and ensured that she had what she needed. Rihanna was a couple of months pregnant when she was killed. The police bullets ripped through her belly and the body of the baby inside, taking 2 lives. We told you to remember the police story. So the police said they found 2 people, then they found a crash car, and then they found Rose in the bush. That is the sequence. Police carry a handgun and an MP5 semi-automatic gun. The small arm can hold up to 15 rounds, and the MP5 magazine holds about 33 rounds. We don't know what type of guns the first 2 policemen were carrying, but that is easy to find out because all weapons are logged in and logged out in the police station. The first 2 police officers started to shoot at the vehicle, and the driver took off and crashed. So, how did Rihanna and her baby get 18 bullets? Unless Rihanna was still in the car when it crashed, or she was on the ground, and the police pumped those rounds into her. Roshan stumbled out of the car into a bushy area, but he was shot, weak and bleeding. The police found him and shot him 11 more times, killing him on the spot. The 2 other victims that was in the car are only alive by the grace and protection of God. Their names will not be provided, and they are under protection. Victim number 3 was shot, and he ran away from the car when it crashed into the tree. Due to his loss of blood, he passed out in the forested area, and by the grace of God, the police did not find him to finish him off. Victim number 3 awoke the next day and found a stranger who gave him a call to his family member, and that family member picked him up and took him to the hospital. Victim number 4 kept running for miles until he reached a family's home for help. Victim number 3 and 4 are good upstanding people, and their characters cannot be falsely impeached by the police. This type of police killing is called thrill killing. Gangs use thrill killing for new gang members' initiations. A thrill killing is premeditated or random murder that is motivated by the sheer excitement of the act. Police will create thrill killing situation by purposely and falsely escalating a normal situation in order to create a situation to kill. This type of killing is well documented worldwide and unfortunately is very prevalent in the TPS. Don't take my word for it.
You have an exercise to do, say right, roadblock. One on the exercise, while there, we saw a black vehicle stop, turn and go on. So my team is a team that designated to chase man. I say, right, turn, right, go on. Go on and chase the vehicle. Mind you, the driver is pressing this vehicle. I looked over the gauge, I saw he's going 150, 160. And the vehicle in front of us just getting smaller. I said, but my goodness. Everybody said, nah, they will start a gun on them. So men getting ready to shoot. Why men getting ready to shoot now? I praying. I said, Lord, protect this driver. Because any left or right, everybody dead in this vehicle. There is no way we could live at that speed. So the driver is going on and saying, Father, Lord, what's going on here? And now come back out. So in the distance, the vehicle turned into a road and no leads to a repo. So men started to get glad. They said, right, no cameras up, the men dead. I said, wow. I said, okay, if that is it, that is it. We go on, pass a corner straight. They said, no, them fellas, I'm not here, but I said, them fellas going down. So they say, what a road leading? I said, a road cutting back out to the highway. They said, how you know that? I said, I work in Arima. Go on the side road now, saw the vehicle in distance. Man, going up on the vehicle. But how low it was, it couldn't continue in the dirt road. It stopped. Everybody, the police was anybody hands out the window. Come out the vehicle, search. Say, man, what you gun? I said, boss, we have no gun. So where's all that speed about? Boss, you have no insurance. I say, you unbelievable. I say, you could have killed everybody in this vehicle. Kill us in China, chase you, and there's only no insurance. Say, well, I guess stop with it many times, and that'll give me the whole long story. I say, you're going on, lesson learned. I say, the wrong police stop all here, that I shoot first, and then if all you nothing, that I'll put something on all here. I said, let that be a lesson to you. Don't run from the police. Someone give God thanks and praise, no shootout, the driver was excellent, and I'm here to tell the story. Thanks.
When you think you know, all the facts' unexpected twists and turns are discovered. In keeping with the transparency and honesty of this story, we will reveal the big twist in the Rihanna, Roshan, and Stiener killings. Everything that was reported before is the truth. All these people who were killed are innocent of any crimes, and there was no robbery. The big twist is that there is strong evidence of police revenge killings that targeted members of the Bahadur family. In February of 2021, a police officer named Brendan Marcus was off duty when he came upon a robbery. PC Brendan did his job and tried to stop the robbers by shooting one of them, but unfortunately, he picked up a shot in his leg. PC Brendan lived for a while, but died several months later due to complications. One of Roshan's and Stiener's brother was accused of shooting PC Brendan. The police said he looked like the shooter in the video. He was arrested and charged with the shooting, and when PC Brendan died, the charge was upgraded to manslaughter. The case was eventually thrown out of court for lack of evidence because the person on the video that shot PC Brendan did not match or could not be matched to the person that was charged with the robbery and shooting. It is alleged that PC Brendan's father, who was an assistant superintendent of police when his son died, vowed to kill everyone in the Bahadur family. It is also alleged the police tried to kill Roshan's and Steiner's brother on several occasions. On the night Rihanna, Roshan and Stiener was killed by police, the policeman that stopped the car and the policemen that came after and shot all the victims were part of PC Brendan batch. When the car passed a parked police car by Kenny's Bar on Perseverance Road, the police knew Roshan and Stiener was in the car. Also, when one of the witnesses was escaping death, he reported that he was hearing rapid gun fire and one of the police asking which one of the Bahadur brothers run. Remember, Roshan escaped the car and he was in the bush. It was 10:30 p.m. with low visibility, and the officers did not reach the car to check out the driver and passengers. So the reason why the police started shooting as they approached the car is because they already knew who was in the car. Finally, it was also alleged that Assistant Commissioner of Police Wayne Mystar knows about the threats and revenge pact by P.C. Brendan's father and the members of P.C. Brendan Batch. APC Mystar was one of the investigators of the robbery and the shooting of P.C. Brendan in 2021. Also, Ian Allen knows about the connection between Roshan, Stiener, and Rihanna killings because he covered the story of P.C. Brendan's shooting and the arrest of the suspects of the store robbery back in 2021. It appears the P.C. Brendan Marcus was an honorable police officer that paid the ultimate price for his service, and the alleged actions by his father too and other officers to seek revenge is a dishonor for what he stood for. Last, it appears the Rihanna, Roshan, and Stiener killings by police was connected to a robbery, but that robbery did not occur on January 29th, 2025. The robbery occurred 4 years ago, and they had nothing to do with that robbery. This case demonstrates the lack of moral and ethical leadership in the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service. It also shows the poor quality of media reporting and the corrupt conspiracy between some of the media and the police to cover up illegal police activities. The horrifying and evil practice of killing family members of people you have a problem with is a criminal gang characteristic. This was a 4-year-old matter that went through the legal system, and the legal system made a decision. When police officers are charged with murder, and they go before the court and the cases are dismissed or they are found not guilty, does anyone target their families? The answer is no, right? It is horrifying to learn that police officers are doing revenge killings with the full awareness of the TTPS senior leadership. Emotions run high when a fellow police officer is shot or killed, but police took an oath to uphold the law and the legal system of Trinidad and Tobago. If criminal gangs and the police are conducting revenge killings, then what does the word police officer mean anymore? The senior police officer that was on an operation must complete a report within 48 hours of the end of that operation to include incidents. The senior First Division officer must investigate any police shooting and submit his or her findings in a report. This is the TTPS policy, but they don't even follow their own policy. The TTPS strategy is to wait and do nothing. They want to see what the family of police shooting victims would do. So they don't follow their own policies. They don't create any reports. They don't do any investigations. They just wait and keep silent and depend on poor people's lack of financial resources to seek justice. ACP Wayne Mystar is overseeing the TTPS Central Division. The Central Division is the most corrupt police division in the TTPS. The Central Division is known as a criminal enterprise organization which controls organized crime in Central, led by the Chaguanas and Cova police stations. ACP Mystar is a leader that is responsible cleaning up that division and for setting the example, but instead of following his own TPS policy, he planted a misleading robbery story in the media to deflect for the shooting of 5 young people and the murder of 4 by his officers. ACP Mystar was aided by the TTPS-sponsored show Beyond the Tape and his ex-brother-in-law and friend Ian Allen of the show Crime Watch. Let's recap the facts of Rihanna, Roshan, Stiener killings by the police. 1. There was no violent grocery robbery in the Chandernagara Chaguanas area on January 29, 2025. There is no such thing as an area robbery. Did someone rob the entire area of Chaguanas? No time, place, business name was provided for any robbery. 2. The police officers that initiated the stopping of the car and shooting of the victims were not on any special anti-crime operation or part of any operations looking for robbery suspects. They were parked at Kenny's bar inside of their vehicle. 3. There is no proof of criminal records or criminal activities for any of the police murder victims to warrant stopping their car and killing them. 4. Stiener was a main person that the police told Ian Allen to use as a criminal and robbery suspect to justify their killings, but Stiener was crippled due to a serious injury, and he had 4 more months in his cast before he could begin rehab. Also, there is no proof that Stiener was ever involved in any criminal activity. 5. There were about 10 to 15 witnesses for this case from the stopping of the vehicle, the shooting of the people in the vehicle by police, and the murder of the 3 people plus the unborn baby carried by Rihanna. 6. All the murder victims' locations and time of location can be confirmed the day they were murdered by the police through business security videos and social media updates. Thank you, social media. This information will not be released because the police did not provide a location, business name, and time for their alleged robbery, and the fear is they will change their information to match their made-up timeline. 7. Ian Allen stated that Roshan and Stiener was criminally connected to the 6 victims that was killed by police in Freeport. Ian Allen will simply have to prove any criminal connection in court. You can't just say what you want to say without proof. These young men came from a group of young fishermen who worked every day on the sea. That is the only connection. Last, on Wednesday, 29, January 2025, the police targeted members of the Bahadur family for revenge killing. They knew Roshan and Stiener was in the car. Before we close this story, the family, community, and friends of the police murder victims will provide their recommendations for moving forward with this case, and others like it. They will support any official or anyone seeking to be an official on April 28, 2025 that supports these recommendations. 1. Rihanna, Roshan, and Stiener killings must be investigated without delay. 2. All police on duty must wear body cameras on patrol and on operations. Mandatory policy. 3. All reports on police shootings must be submitted to the Police Complaint Authority and Professional Standards Bureau for review within 5 days of the incident. 4. All police shooting investigations should be removed from under the senior officer of that division and placed under the Police Complaint Authority and Professional Standards Bureau. There's overwhelming evidence that the TPS is not investigating their own for police-involved shootings. 5. A drastic and massive reform is required for the TPS. The TPS needs to be reset. There are too many leaders from sergeant to deputy commissioner that need to go. There should be a mass force retirement for about 60% of these officers. Most of these officers are compromised, and too many of them don't even show up for work every day. If the Police Act needs to be amended, amend it. The TPS needs to clean house and reset. Brand new officers coming out of the academy cannot and should not fall into the same old system. Reset to reform. 6. The 40% of the officers remaining from sergeant to deputy commissioner should be polygraphed by outside independent polygraph experts. 7. The last recommendation is for the families of murder victims and attorneys. Families, when your loved one is killed, know your legal rights to information and legally seek that information. You have a legal right to the police report. You have a legal right to the medical report. And you have a legal right to the forensic report. Do not wait. No one will seek your interest, and no one will help you unless you help yourself. Hint: don't waste your time going to the senior officer for help when his officers kill your loved one. He already knows what happened, and it's not in his best interest to help you against his police officers. Trinidad and Tobago attorneys, get up off you asses and pay attention to these cases. Stop waiting for families to seek you out for help. Get down off your high thrones and act like attorneys should act. The system is designed for any criminal case against these officers to fail. In Trinidad and Tobago, it takes 8 to 12 years to bring any officer to court for a police shooting murder case. So, attorneys, you must pursue civil cases to hurt them in their pocket, and the evidence from the civil case will support the criminal case. Attorneys, you must change the norm.